Hey, it's Christy and Amanda.
Two girls from Saskatchewan, Canada, living the Reiki life while working the 9 to 5.
Hey, welcome everybody to Living the Reiki Life podcast. You're here with Christy and Amanda, and we have an amazing episode to share with you today. But first, we like to dive into just little updates about what we've been up to in the last couple weeks since you've heard from us. So, Amanda, what's going on?
Yeah, so really exciting news on my part that I've been really excited to share for a while now, 15 weeks really. I'm pregnant. Me and Todd are expecting. We are due at the end of February. So February 28th is our due date. And this intro and this announcement comes at a really good time because the lady we interviewed today was a huge part of my fertility journey. And seeing her and meeting with her 1 month after following her protocol, I was pregnant. So I really don't think that's a coincidence because I was doing all the other things before that. We and Todd both got checked because we had been trying for about a year and a half. So people who are going through the struggle, I see you. And our first one was so easy that we were like, what? What do you mean this is difficult? And so it was really awesome when we found out we were pregnant. And it was actually I found out I was pregnant days after we had to put our dog down. So that was super hard. And then this blessing came in. So it was like this death and this rebirth, new beginning. Everything was just really surreal and very grateful. So we're really excited to talk to Flo today about this. And since I've been pregnant, and when I was pregnant with Bo, the same thing kind of happened. So like I rub my belly now when I'm doing a Reiki session and I get my baby kind of gets involved. I don't know. It's really interesting. So it's because it's like the spirit I find is already in the baby. And it's just now there's two of us wielding the Reiki energy. And it's a really neat experience. And I really like it. And luckily, I love doing those Reiki sessions because it's just flowing into both of us, that energy. So I find it's just really good for us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you say that, I think of, do you remember the show Ally McBeal when she had that baby dancing?
I never got into that. I never watched it.
Oh my goodness. It's just that's what I picture this baby doing in your belly, just dancing and feeling the vibes. And I just love that connection that you have, even this early on with the energy of the baby and the soul. Cause I remember hearing that when the baby's growing in your belly, the soul comes in and out. It's not hanging around there all the time. It's kind of comes in. It's oh, okay, cool, we're growing, and then goes back out and goes wherever it's going to do its thing. And it's just, it's so neat though.
Yeah. And I've heard even to some baby souls, they can choose not even to experience the growing part. They can just come in right at they don't even have to experience the birth. They can come in the after part, when the baby takes that first breath, that scream, it's that's when they'll come in.
Wow.
So it's it can be even something like that. I've heard a couple different things. It's almost up to the soul what they want to experience because birth is so traumatic that if they've already done it before, they're I'm not going through that again. So they'll just be I don't need to experience that. And they'll just come in at that moment too. But I have a feeling that mine's in there now.
Yeah.
Jamming with me.
Jamming, yep. So, feeling the energy.
The Ally McBeal baby.
Oh, that's so amazing. And just following your journey. And I was just so happy for you because I know I have friends that have gone on these fertility journeys and it's so stressful and you just want it to happen. But then when it happens and you look back at the timing and you're just okay, this soul had its plan and I just need to roll with it. But it's so hard to surrender to something like that. I can't speak from experience. I've never gone through that, but it's just that hindsight where you're just okay, this makes sense, having the ending and the new beginning to help you guys through. And it's just so special.
Yeah. That was actually the one biggest thing, just having that knowing, like you said, was the biggest thing that kept me no, I know this is all in divine timing, not my timing. And that was definitely something that kept me no, it's okay. It's okay. Like maybe 1 month I was like, well, son of a,
Yeah.
but other than that, I did pretty good. Yeah.
You did. You
Yeah.
you did really good to keep like level throughout that whole journey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But enough about that. What is going on with you?
Yeah, so I've been still doing a lot of work in the Akashics. I have shared about that in the previous episode. And I had a story I wanted to share. I have permission from my client to share this story. It was because it was really neat, such a neat experience. So it was actually an Akashic house clearing. So I can clear the house and the land in the Akashics, which is super fascinating. And I've actually had somebody reach out to me and want to learn how to do that. So I am going to create a course at some point on teach people how to clear their own homes in the Akashics or clients or whatever, however that's going to look. But anyway, so my client was all the way in Denmark, which is a long ways away from where we are in Canada. And, like Europe, I've never been to Europe, but I just think of Europe as such a rich history. Like, I think of like folklore and mythical things and just like the deep history that land has. I was so excited to connect with it. And yeah, my client, they moved into the house and they've been there a couple years, I believe. And her husband was clearing the attic. And I think it was under the insulation, he found a photo. And it was an old photo of a little boy. I'm not sure how old he was in the photo. Like maybe, well, I can't even guess. I'm so bad with guessing ages. But she sent me this photo before I did the house clearing. And she's like, I think maybe he used to live here. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll see what I can do. And when I connect in the Akashics, like I find the house in the Akashic records and the land, I don't really go into the stories of the earthbounds. I just send them on their way, but sometimes stories will come through. And with this one, since I had the photo, I really set the intention to hear his story if he was available. And he did come through and he shared me his whole life, like living in that house, growing up, what all happened, what his life turned out to be. And like, it was just such a beautiful story that just flowed. And I was so grateful to be able to, witness his story. And he shared why he was still hanging around that house. And it was a bit of a heartbreaking story as well. And end of story here. I was able to send him on his way. It's like, you can't stay here. This is now the home of this family and they're going to grow their family here. So you can no longer stay here. You have to leave. And he was okay with that, of course. But, sometimes they're not, of course, but he was. And so I sent the house recording to my client. And the next day she sends me the picture, but the back of the picture. So the picture that she sent me, but it was on the back and there was writing on the back. And the date that was on the back of the photo was the date I did the clearing. And I was like, whoa, that is wild. And then beside it, she said, no, that's his birthday. So we sent him on his way. We heard his story and it was on his exact birthday. So it was just, talk about divine timing. It just felt like it was just so meant to be because I was behind a couple days on my readings and then I always just trust things will fall the way they're supposed to. And it just lined up so nicely. And it was just a really neat story because, our houses have so much history, especially if your house is old. And then even a new house built on land, the land has story as well. And I've connected with different things that happen on the land. And it's just such fascinating work that I really enjoy it.
It is. It's a very full circle moment.
Yeah.
Having that on the birthday because it's like, do you get them to move into the light or do you just get them to move on?
Just move. I get them to move on with the intention that they are crossing over.
Yeah, because it's almost like going home, that whole full circle moment. That's really wild.
Yeah. You talk about like the soul coming to earth in that first breath. And then on his birthday, like I think he would have been, what was it? Was it over 100 or 90 or something if he was still alive? And then I was like, maybe he's still alive. And then it's like, no, he's not. But yeah, total full circle moment. Like it just, my jaw drops and it's, you can't make this stuff up. It's so
I know.
wild.
Yeah, you couldn't have planned that even if you wanted to.
No, there's no way. No.
No way. Yeah, it's super cool. What a
Yeah.
great story.
Yeah.
Okay, well, before we get into our episode, let's go through a quick astrology recap here for the end of September. Okay, did everyone else get hit with that awful eclipse the beginning of September, or was it just Christy and I?
No.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Just dragging my butt. And so was Troy.
Oh.
Troy was so tired. He's like, what's going on? I was like, blame the moon.
Exhaustion. And I was like, I'm past exhaustion. I'm in the golden trimester. Why am I so tired?
Yeah.
Dying. Yeah, awful. So we were there right with you if you were feeling that energy. Okay, so we still have the new moon coming up again in Virgo. So remember, we had two of these. We had 2 new moons in Virgo back to back. So this is the second one. So again, Virgo energy, that earth energy, and it is systems and service, refinement, so seed new habits, health, and overflow intentions. And again, it's that hermit card, so really shining light and even going into like solitude to kind of figure things out and what you want to do. And and it also comes with a partial solar eclipse. So it's a little bit more intense as well if you're really feeling that energy. But I've been feeling a lot of people have really been honing in that, like, let's get organized. I'm almost like I'm over the summer feel now. And I just want to get back to like routines and organization and even purging. I have a friend who purged a bunch of stuff. So really, really good time to do that. And I've been feeling like that too.
Yeah, I just really love that Virgo energy and just, getting back into things. And, I looked at my day planner because I do still like writing everything out. And I was like, oh, I haven't written in here since like June. It's just, but now I have it all out and I'm writing in my appointments and everything. And it's just all nice. And yeah, it just feels so good to be organized.
It does. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're listening to this the day it was released on September 15th, we do have our Reiki Circle tonight at 7 p.m. CST, so Central Standard Time. And we hope you can join us. To sign up, the link is in our bio on our Instagram, or you can email us livingthereikilife@gmail.com, and we can send that link to you as well if you don't have Instagram. And it's only $8 Canadian to join us. And it was such magic last time. Like it was so much fun. Like we just, you just need to come and experience it.
Yeah. Fantastic group of people who came and who always do. So it's wonderful. And a lot of new faces too. So yeah, come on out.
Yeah, everyone's welcome. You don't have to have your Reiki. If you're hearing Reiki for the first time and you're curious, come out. Yeah, anyone's welcome.
That's right. And now let's get into the episode with Flo. So Flo Lavallie, what a lady, you guys. Holy man. She is one of those special people that has been at the game longer than all of us. And you would never know by looking at her because she looks like 40 years old. It's just wild. It just goes to show you how taking care of yourself and your health is such a priority. And you're going to love this episode because she is a game changer, a shaker, as she likes to be called. So
I love that. That really lines up.
Yeah. And if you don't know what ideology is, you're going to find out about that today and how it played a really big role in me getting pregnant and just her advice going forward. It's wonderful.
Yeah. I can't wait to share her story with everyone.
Yes. Enjoy. Yes. So I met Flo back in May of 2025. I went to her when I was trying to get pregnant. I was also having pretty severe neck flare-ups and just wanted her to tell me where I was at health-wise. Flo is a Reiki Master, does Iridology, where she reads the irises of your eye. She does Reflexology and is a Master Clinical Herbalist. She has been in the game since the early 80s. Flo took a look at both of my eyes and told me my body was full of candida. My liver needed help and one of my kidneys was in rough shape. Right away, she put me on the Candida-free diet and supplements to support my health and body. I didn't think I told you this, Flo, but before I saw you, I had a live blood analysis done, and she told me the exact same things you did. But when you told me in a mom voice, and that I really listened. It was just, right to the point. After 1 month of healthy eating and supplements, I went back for a follow-up of my blood work analysis, and the candida was pretty well gone, and I'm pregnant. So Flo helps heal people through the inside out and through holistic, natural approaches, including even things like cancer. She is going to share some of her stories with us today. She works with people and animals all over Canada, and I'm beyond excited to introduce you to our audience today. So welcome, Flo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm very excited to chat with you today. So can you share the story of how you found your way to healing work? Was there a moment that changed everything?
Yes, I basically fell down a flight of cement stairs at the Victoria Union Hospital and had 3 back operations as a result. I've had my tailbone removed, I've had my 3 lower vertebrae fused, and I've had a laminectomy all within 3 years.
Wow.
As a result of that, I was listed as 35% disabled by workman's compensation. So I took one of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders with me to meet with the compensation board, and he sat there like a lawyer, suit, tie, the whole business. And because I was really angry, and basically I had to make a decision, and so I was given $85 a month as a pension for all of my back surgeries. And I was 35% disabled. What do? I can't work in a hospital setting any longer. I can't lift. I can't do a lot of the things that I wanted to do. But my great-grandmother was an herbalist in France. And so that book there that you see is my great-grandmother's book, and she was an herbalist in France. So therefore, I basically had a vision one night with my grandmother standing at the foot of my bed and asking me to change my career and to look at herbal medicine. So, but in the meantime, I was addicted to prescription drugs. So I was on drug withdrawal, University Hospital for 9 days. Beds moving, mattresses moving, voices. But one of the doctors was really kind to me, and he said, "Did you say you're a drug addict?" And I thought, "You so-and-so." It's not very nice. But anyway, I basically was admitted to hospital. He gave me 1 day to get my daughter with cerebral palsy admitted to hospital. And I basically went into hospital, and that's why I had decisions to make. So I had 1 prescription left at home at Victoria in Prince Albert. And I had a decision to make about what I was going to do with that prescription. And it was really, I weighed 89 pounds when that all finished. And then I went into the hospital and went back to Prince Albert in the back of a station wagon because I couldn't walk. And so when I got home, I had that prescription and I flushed it down the toilet. I regretted that many a day, but that led me to who I am today. And then I turned to alcohol because that gave me that feeling that I had conquered the pain. And I basically I was really a mess, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so therefore, I had to make a decision about my drinking then. And so I basically decided to change my ways. So we moved to Saskatoon, my husband's job. And then I basically had to make a decision. And that's when my husband's cousin basically and my aunt had told me about reflexology, and I thought, what the hell is that? Mm-hmm. And of course, then basically I tried 7 or 8 treatments, and I was able to walk up the stairs, and we had to sell a house because I couldn't climb stairs anymore. And then we moved two firemen built a bungalow over in Confederation or in Lakeview. And so therefore, all of a sudden I gained my strength back and I was almost pain free and started taking herbs and vitamins and that kind of thing. And so at that point in time, I had taken a reflexology course. The reflexologist told me, she said, you need to come with me to Regina and we're going to take this reflexology course. And I thought, I'm too stupid. At that point in time, my self-esteem and self-worth wasn't very much. And so anyway, she hauled me to Regina with her and introduced me as the grandmother and on and on and on. So anyway, I basically started doing reflexology out of my home. And what happened was I got a call from Kindersley, Saskatchewan, and this fellow said, my wife is pregnant and she has ulcerative colitis, and she was eating blueberries at the supper table. And before supper was over, she passed the blueberries in the toilet. He said, will you see her? He said, somebody gave me your name. So I said, sure, I'll stay up till you get here. And it was 10 o'clock at night by the time they got to Saskatoon. She stopped on the side of the road 6 times before she was able to come to my home. And so I gave her reflexology treatment. And the next morning, he gave me a call and he said that was the first time she'd slept all night without having to go to the washroom. Then I thought, well, I don't have enough skills in order, if I had iridology, if I had reflexology, if I had herbal medicine, then perhaps maybe I could do more for this woman. And so that's basically how this gig all started. And then I basically started working with a medicine man out of Beardy's Reserve, and he brought me his wife. And I said, how come you bring me your wife? And he said, because we don't treat our own. And so then I worked on that reserve, and I worked with the Saskatoon Blades at that time as well. I mean, I do things, I'm a multi-generational person, I do more than one thing. And so I built a Saskatoon Blades, and basically they became my guinea pigs. So I worked with them, and I worked with several of them. Kevin Kaminsky was one of them. I did a movie with Kevin doing reflexology in my home. And Kevin, to this day, basically went and took level 1 of reflexology, and Kerry Clark and Wendell Clark's brother, and it really mushroomed. So anyway, and then of course I just basically went to Humboldt, and I worked in Humboldt for 17 years. Then I got busier in Saskatoon, and it just mushroomed from there.
Wowza. So, okay, so you started with your reflexology, and then you got into reading the irises. So
Yes.
was that part of the medicine man from Beardsley who taught you that?
No, I basically had gone I was down in the States, and I met a Blackfoot Indian. And he basically talked to me about iridology, because if you look back into iridology, it's the Chinese and the Blackfoot that basically used iridology as their medicines, because every modality that we have, it came from from Egypt or from Europe or from the Chinese. And so they were basically, so that's basically where I took some of the courses that I took. And then I went to California and took some courses there as well. And I've been all over the place.
That's amazing. That is quite the journey.
Were my guinea pigs.
Yeah.
I want you to know that.
And for people who don't know, the Saskatoon Blades, they're a hockey team here.
Yes.
Yeah. So she was with the whole hockey team.
Yes. And then I had my own ticket, my season tickets, and I went to the Memorial Cup, and that's how I got into the movie. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, so I wanted to dive deeper into the iridology, like for people that don't know what it's about. So how does that all work, and what can you gain from looking into the eyes?
Iridology is the science art of reading the iris of the eye that gives you 4 conditions. One is acute, one is subacute, one is chronic, and one is degenerate. Okay, so therefore there's two true colors of eyes. One is brown, one is blue. The only woman that had purple eyes is Cleopatra.
What?
She had pink eyes.
Cool.
Yeah. Liz Taylor.
What about green?
Green basically indicates that there's some a lot of uric acid or that type of thing in the body.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
And can your eyes change color? Sorry, I
Yes,
don't.
they can. Yes,
Okay.
they can.
And that depends on your health?
Yes.
What?
Ah.
Okay, sorry, keep going. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm interrupting.
So therefore, basically, is 12 o'clock is your head, 6 o'clock is your feet, 9 o'clock is your lungs, and 3 o'clock is your heart. So all the organs in between, there's 90 areas in each eye.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot. And what, like around the white part of the eye? You'll see some people's are kind of like yellow.
That's the sclera. The sclera basically is the white part of the eye. I also read the white part of the eye, and that's called sclerology, which basically it dictates the metaphysical causations of dis-ease.
Oh.
So that means you're ill at ease with yourself. So there's the iridology is basically the physical, and the whites of the eyes are basically the mental, physical, emotional relationships. Then we have red.
Mm-hmm.
Red basically is the personality readings. Okay, so that's basically red is your emotional. Okay, that's your flower personality, very sensitive people.
Mm-hmm.
They carry their feelings on their short sleeves. Then you have the stream personality, the people who just go with the flow. There's people bug me. But anyway, and then you have people that basically have a blended personality. So then therefore you have, and then a shaker personality, and that's me. Okay, the shaker is everywhere. You basically join here and you're there, you're an iridologist, you're sclerology, you do all these things, but in a community as well. I've been here, I've been there, and I've been everywhere, So those are shaker personalities, but you can become a blended personality, okay? So when I work with rodeo, I'm not very sensitive,
Right.
When I work with hockey, I'm not very sensitive. But when I come in an office setting, I'm a different person,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're more sensitive, you're more cognitive of people's, what they're displaying in front of you. So therefore, if you have someone that breaks down because they got stage 4 cancer and they break down, you have to be more sensitive. So I've learned all of these capabilities because I've learned to do red. Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at someone's eye, like you can see all kind of disease in the eye just by looking at it. Is there like a point or like what do you notice?
Okay, well they're called lacunas, and so lacuna basically is a spread of the tissue. Okay, the tissue spreads over, and so there's different readings in the iris of the eye. You probably can't see that over there.
I took a photo of it.
Nice.
But basically, it shows all the different, and then you have people that are suicidal. Okay, they've got nerve rings. Okay, on around the circle of the whole iris of the eye. So therefore, if they have two nerve rings, then therefore they're basically really agitating. They're anxious, that kind of thing. But if you have 3, 4, 5, and 6, the most I've seen is 7 and 8, and they're suicidal. So therefore, that's when you have to connect them within the community and refer them to people in the community that deal with psychiatric issues.
Whoa.
So you have to be able to, it's really gifting to know all of the things, the presence that iridology has. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also tells you the condition of the tissue in the body before it occurs, before they go to a physician, before the people feel that in their bodies, because they're disconnected.
Yeah.
Between the sclera and the iris. Okay, they're disconnected emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So if you look at the medicine wheel, that's why I work up north with the native people, because they basically work with the medicine wheel principles. So therefore, you basically have, they basically work from the land. And so therefore, the whole universe is, they deal with the emotional, the physical, the spiritual. So we're disconnected because we haven't got there yet.
Right.
We haven't got there yet.
Yeah. We treat the symptoms, but not the actual root cause.
That's correct.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
Which is actually a pretty big principle in Reiki, is to get to the root
That's
of it.
correct. Yes.
Cure the dis-ease in the body.
Right. You want
Right.
to talk about Reiki?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. I have a letter here that I'd like to show you and the envelope. Now, I got a letter from a cancer patient, and I've been seeing this woman for a long time. And her sister, I've been sending long distance Reiki, and Reiki is the only modality that you can send for long distance. And her sister sent me this for her sister, because her sister basically is got stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
And so I've been sending, and she lives here in Saskatoon, but this woman lives in Vancouver. And so she sent me this with this letter as a thank you for sending Reiki.
Oh.
Wow.
And she's taken Reiki in Vancouver now,
Oh.
the sister. And they're both accountants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then also I worked at Westside Community Clinic. I worked at the SWITCH program, which Student Wellness Initiative towards Community Health. And so I did Reiki for the Women's Pampering Night. And so I have pictures here of doing Reiki. I'm doing Reiki with people, street people. And so therefore they benefited at Women's Pampering Night. Mm-hmm. So what we did there is we collected purses and we put personal items in the purses. And then they had haircuts, and and their children got face painting and this kind of thing. And that's what Women's Pampering Night is about. Oh. And then also here, we basically did some more Reiki there as well.
That's amazing.
And you have Usui Reiki?
Pardon me?
Do you have Usui?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Yeah. So basically, those are the kinds of things that I've done with Reiki. I also have a list of people that I send Reiki to on a Reiki list every morning and every night. I send it twice a day.
Wow.
Yep.
I like that.
I have a daughter with cerebral palsy, and I also do Reiki with her. Oh. And I've been called to hospitals. I've been called all over the place. And I have a young girl that basically from La Loche, Saskatchewan, that basically had a brain tumor. And she lived right beside the water treatment plant in La Loche. And so she was 9 years old. The physicians called me and asked me if I would come and befriend these people. She was there for 16 weeks. And so I went there 16 weeks every Sunday to do Reiki with her. And she basically, her brain tumor got larger and larger, but at least she was able to relax and to rest. Okay. These people basically talk Dene. And so I basically, they never left her. And so when I would walk in, her uncle is a physician in Vancouver, or in Calgary. And so he basically, I smudged in the smudge room. I smudged the water from La Loche. And so we boiled different herbs in the water and in the smudge room. And so therefore, they had a big jug that they brought water with them. And so her uncle would put them in the syringe, and he would insert it in the feeding tube. And so I did that for 16 weeks at the smudge room.
And did you notice if any of that was helping? Well,
she was more relaxed, and she basically wasn't moving, so she couldn't communicate. But we could basically see the relaxation, from the movement of her body. But yeah, I did that for 16 weeks at University Hospital. Yeah.
Christy actually is taking her homeopathy right now and getting really into working with herbs, and she wants to expand her practice as well. Mm-hmm. Do you want to touch on, I know with your Reiki and with your whole practice that you have now, the importance of like supplements and herbs really play. Like it's not like Reiki is very good. And don't get me wrong, like I was Reikiing myself all the time. But when I really started healing my body with proper diet and really, Christy is really big into cutting out sugar. She's really conscious of cleansing as well. That's what really brought me over the edge to where I am and to feel better. And even my emotional state like is really leveled off. It's quite lovely, especially for my spouse. And so can you kind of talk about the role that you play and how you kind of really got into that too?
Well, basically herbal medicine is medicine of the future in my eyes. And so the other thing is I found that I was raised with, I didn't grow up, I was raised with herbal medicines because we had dandelion greens, and that was before the garden basically, was mature and we could get lettuce. And then, nettles. We ate nettles as a vegetable, but my mom used to had baby chicks on the farm, and she used to take nettles and crush them in with eggs, hard-boiled eggs, and feed them to the chickens because the chickens were were walking bow-legged because of lack of calcium. And so the nettles basically strengthen the chicken's legs. And so that's what I grew up with. And so it's interesting how, the herbs, that's all I knew is herbal medicines. And then so it just brought me back to where I came from, my DNA. It's in my DNA. And so when I go to different hospital and people start talking about this and that and the next thing that they're doing. And I keep thinking, no, don't do that. But I can't say anything because I feel that it's up to people to make their choices. And I don't think that it's up to me to, people say, what do I do? I visit all day. I visit with people and I basically, talk to them about, their the iridology. And then we talk about herbal medicines. Then we talk about eating plans. And then we basically talk about, are you serious about this? Because success is failure turned inside out in my eyes. And so therefore you have to give people the benefit of getting ill in order to get better. That's the lesson in life. And so that's why our hospitals are overflowing all over the place. That's karma. It's up to us to be able to step in and to help, to bring people back to hemostasis again. So I think everything that's going on here, and if you look in I'm not a religious person, don't get me wrong. I was raised in a residential school, but I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. And if you look in the good book, in the Bible, there's 30 places where they talk about herbal medicines.
Wow. So
therefore, there is some validity. And I had a minister come to me for an appointment, and of course he was poo-pooing everything that, I said, well, did Jesus not touch the lepers to heal the lepers? And so then that really, he never argued with me after that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had him in his own game. But the thing is it, I think it's important, I think that we, as herbalists and as the younger folk come along, basically learn that, all plants, your carrot is a plant, your radishes are a plant, all of our vegetation are plants, and they're there for a reason. I'm doing a medicine walk over at different places here in Saskatoon, and it basically important that people learn that these are edible, and there's some plants that you don't touch, but there are plants that are edible and they benefit you. The flower essence therapy is another one, It basically is very valid and does a lot of work, And so I think that we have a different belief system and different cultures coming. We talked about that before you came, is basically that we have different new cultures out there. And I worked with Dr. Avinashi. I worked with the medical community. And he said, Flo, what did we do 200 years ago? So we basically, are going right back to our root system.
Yeah.
And so even our trees don't go from the top down. Herring's life cure starts from the head down, within out, and the symptoms leave the body in reverse order that you've received them.
Right.
So therefore, this is all we need to know.
Yeah.
So I had a fellow that I saw that had oxygen in his Lexus. He had oxygen at home and oxygen during the day. So basically what I had to do is refer back to the healing of the head down, the reversal of symptoms. So therefore, he basically had to go back to the common cold. Then he had to go back to the pneumonia. Then he had to go back to the emphysema. Then he had to go back to the COPD. And then now he has no oxygen anywhere. And his wife came to see me after that, and then his daughter now still sees me. And so it basically is, it's nothing that I have done. It basically, you give people the information, and they have the power to change that. So I know Louise Hay. When I went to Vancouver, I met her, and I met Wayne Dyer. He was in the same pool I was in.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was in the cold water, and I put my toe in there, and I said, get that in Saskatchewan. I'm not going here. So I went into the warm pool. Later on, he comes into the water, and he shakes my hand, and he said, by the way, I'm Wayne. So then we had a chat, and I talked, where are you from? I said, Saskatchewan. He said, I know 2 places in Saskatchewan. So basically, but Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, and the Power is Within You.